Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing fantastic. Yes, I'm back with another one. This is episode 5 of Random Football. Yes, I've been away for a little while, but I was just trying to get things in order. I was trying to see if I could do this while going live, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, we're back here. I'm still fixing some bugs, and as soon as I've got everything sorted out, I will definitely try and go live. Anyway, this week we have a lot to get through. There's a lot happening in the world of football, as you already know. As I'm recording this, today is the final of the Women's Euro, so that's going to be a big one, a talking point in this. We have a lot to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, as you've just seen, we're going to start off with a transfer roundup. I've put together some, transfers that I would love to talk about, some that have been done and some that haven't yet, that have not, there's still rumors, but we will see how that goes. First up is Idrissa Gueye to Everton. I think this would be a fantastic signing. Well, initially when I saw it, I thought to myself, yes, this would be a very good, a very interesting signing. But at the same time, then after doing a bit of research, I realized that he's 32 now, which, I mean, you could say for a CDM, I mean, back in the day, CDMs didn't really have to go forward that much. It was just about being the destroyer, or, someone like Busquets, who was just about making the passes and moving left and right. So for a guy like Idrissa Gueye, especially in a team like Everton, he's going to make a lot of runs, but he does still look like, he's got the he's got the runs in him. He's looking a bit like N'Golo Kounde in his old age. I've always been a big fan of Idrissa Gueye's football. I think I needed to make sure I said football. I just think that he's done well. He has spent three seasons in England before. It didn't quite work out. I think it was with Aston Villa or I'm not really sure. I think it was Aston Villa. He spent 3 seasons, didn't work out. I think then went to Lille and then ended up at PSG. So it's an interesting one. I still do think that it would be a great signing for him and what he can do. But at the same time, the age thing is important, and especially there's some positioning where if you're not able to go the 90 minutes, it's gonna be a big problem. But I think Lampard knows what he's doing. Well, I would hope so. I don't think Lampard is the greatest coach, but I'm sure that the people that he wants to bring in are good enough for the team and will make sure that the team keeps running. But also on top of the Idrissa Gueye situation, you also have to look at the whole LGBTQ thing that happened, where he refused he withdrew from a PSG match because they were wearing the LGBTQ colors and things like that. And the Everton LGB, I'm saying this this acronym so many times. The Everton LGBTQ plus, I don't know, there's a lot. It changes all the time. Have put out a statement about him, which wasn't a really flattering statement. So it should be interesting to see how this goes. If the deal does happen, what is going to happen? Are people going to boycott? How are they going to feel about him? Is it just about what he does on the field? When they have to, I don't know, for example, wear colors, during, I think it's Pride Month, or they change their laces or things like that. What's going to happen then? Football, unfortunately, people would love to say that, football is not political and no one's looking for something political. But in reality is, as we've seen with what happened in Ukraine and how that affected leagues around the world, it just is what it is. Moving on to the next thing, as a Chelsea fan, I'm really... Anyway, we're going to talk about Kounde to Barcelona. Personally, I'm glad that the saga is over. I think as soon as Barcelona stepped into the picture, we should have backed off. Chelsea Football Club should have backed off. Now, the reality is Chelsea had a personal agreement with Kounde, verbal, since last season when he was supposed to sign. Unfortunately, Sevilla moved the goalpost last season and he couldn't sign on time. And, to be honest, I think all Chelsea fans thought that Kounde would come in definitely, for sure, 100% come in this season, this transfer window. It was just about getting the right price with Sevilla, negotiating wise, and Kounde would, sign on, and it would be easy, simple as pie. Everyone would have moved on. That didn't happen. Now, from my point of view, there's a few things, and part of me feels for Kounde and understands his decision, because in all honesty, it looks like Thomas Tuchel was not the biggest fan of Kounde. It looks like Thomas Tuchel kind of, the situation came up where, they had to look at the defenders that they want. First, they went for De Ligt. That didn't work out. He went to Bayern Munich. Then they went for Koulibaly. They signed Koulibaly, which is a fantastic signing. But then he looked at Nathan Ake, and there was the negotiations going on between Chelsea and Man City over Nathan Ake. At the end of the day, Pep decided that he wanted to keep Nathan Ake. So then we went back to the Kounde situation. I mean, I don't think any player, especially a player of Kounde's stature and and what he means to a lot of people in football, and how many clubs would love to have him. You cannot treat him like my third, fourth choice signing, when already there was a deal in place, and it almost looks like Chelsea have gone back on their word. In addition, it looks like once the bid was made and the bid, Sevilla had accepted the bid, or I think the bid was still on the table or whatever. It looked like Chelsea stalled at some point. They something happened. This is according to Fabrizio Romano. They stalled. Something happened where they weren't quite sure on how they were going to go, and then it looked like the deal was going to break down again. And obviously Barcelona stepped in. Barcelona were big fans of him from the get-go. They stepped in, they put down their price, and it was, at the end of the day, there wasn't even a bidding war. So that tells me that Chelsea are in need of defenders. We know Chelsea are in need of defenders, but at the same time, they didn't quite value Kounde as, the right person to fit in. And unfortunately, he's gone to, unfortunately for fans, because Chelsea fans were, we were bigging up Kounde. We thought that it would be a great signing. I personally thought he would be great for the team and for my FUT FIFA 23 team. But anyway, it is what it is. He's gone. Good luck to him. I hope that Barcelona have a really, really bad season. And it just is what it is. Yes, it makes sense from a Chelsea perspective. Anyway, if you guys know Chelsea perspective, go follow him, go watch. From a Chelsea perspective, it's important to see that we have a bunch of amateurs right now running our transfer window, and that's the honesty, right? They don't really know how things work. They don't really know they don't really know how the transfer market works, and how to get deals over the line. Everyone that was doing that job has left, from Bruce Buck to Marina Granovska, even Peter Cech, when it came to certain goalkeepers, and him having conversations with them about coming in and all of that. So that whole team is gone. We have an owner who has decided to take it upon himself to do this, especially in such a pivotal transfer window. I think Chelsea fans, we're gonna have to accept that it's going to take time. We're not going to challenge for the league this season, that's for sure. Yes, we have a good team, and I will get into that with my Premier League predictions later on. But I just don't know. I just don't see it as as viable. I don't see us doing enough in the 4 or 5 weeks that are left to kind of put together a team that will be strong enough to go up against City or Liverpool. So it's just going to be one of those things. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to wait it out. We're going to have to allow the players that come in the time to kind of get to their best, and we're going to also have to say goodbye to a lot of players. But yeah, that's my kind of piece on the Kounde situation. Again, good luck to him, and I hope Barcelona have a horrible time this season. Hopefully, we'll see them in the Champions League at some point. Sticking with Chelsea, we're going to talk about Fofana, who's being linked. Apparently, it was reported by multiple sources that he has a verbal agreement with Chelsea, which is a good start. Let's not go and put money and pay Leicester and then the player doesn't want to come. So if there's a verbal agreement, that is fantastic. That's good to hear. But I think, looking at his age, fantastic. He's 21. He did overcome a really big injury, which, is a risk. But I think that he is a good enough defender to kind of take the risk on. He's Premier League proven. Yes, he's young, but he's going to learn from the likes of Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, which is super important for any young defender. And, who else to learn from? I mean, at least you don't have like Maguire to learn from, so it's fantastic. I think that it would be a great signing, but also I believe that Leicester are not going to make this easy on Chelsea. Yes, Leicester and Chelsea have had a good relationship in the past. N'Golo Kante we bought from them. We also got Ben Chilwell from them. Pretty good prices for both. I think Ben was around 50 mil, if I remember correctly, and N'Golo Kante was 35. Can we speak about that? 35 million for N'Golo Kante. That has to be one of like the best signings of like football in general, right? Anyway, so it's good, but 80 million price tag. It's a bit much, but I'm sure that in the negotiation phases, Todd Bowley and the squad will look at how to, maybe we can, because we're trying to load off players too. Maybe he can go the other way. Who knows? It's a great signing. I just think that we need a better price for him. And if we get that, I think Chelsea will be in, a strong position. And defense-wise, I think we would have, maybe one or two more signings are needed. But I think if only one defender comes in now, I think, with Chalobah, Koulibaly, Thiago Silva, Fofana, depending on if Azpilicueta goes to Barcelona, that's another story. But if we look at a back four and we play a back three, if it's possible, it would be fantastic. Or maybe it looks like Thomas Tuchel really wants to try out a back four, which I don't advise, especially with this team that we have, but we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, Chelsea get it over the line, but it's going to take some time because it's such a big signing. And Leicester haven't done anything in the transfer market. So it's going to be interesting to see how they negotiate these things and how, we get to where we get, hopefully, if it's at a good place. Who knows? But let me know in the comments what you guys think of the three transfers: Idrissa Gueye, Kounde to Barcelona, Fofana to Chelsea. Idrissa Gueye has some situations going on, but it's a good signing. He's 32. There's so much to talk about. Let me know in the comments. Kounde to Barcelona. I'm sure everyone is sick of that saga. But yes, and Fofana to Chelsea will be a good one. Again, let me know in the comments what you guys think. And we're going to move on to a big boy. Next up, we are talking about the main man, as he called himself, the king, Cristiano Ronaldo. Where to for Cristiano Ronaldo? I have no idea. I have no idea. Unfortunately, no one wants him. So everyone knows that no one wants him. I think his age, what he brings to teams, I think especially Premier League teams are looking at firstly, there's a small window of teams that can afford Cristiano Ronaldo, who are going to pay, I mean, he's 37 now, who's going to pay over, I don't know, 2 mil, 3 million for a 34-year-old, 37-year-old. Usually a 37-year-old leaves on, free, and you just sign a contract. So firstly, you have to pay, I don't know, 15 to 20 mil for him. Then you have to, pay for his big wages. Is it worth it? I don't know. Big teams are all shying away from it. Atletico Madrid was the last team that I heard of that might maybe want it. The fans made their voices really heard during their friendly, during the week. They do not want Cristiano Ronaldo at their club. So where to for the big guy? Who knows? I don't think he's going anywhere. Like I said, I think I said this in a previous video a couple of months ago. I was sure that Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't going to go anywhere because no one was going to, want him. It looks like Ten Hag is, he is happy for Cristiano to stay. He really wants him to be there. That's what he's saying. But I think that Man United would do so much better if Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't in the team. But now that he is in the team, it's going to be very interesting to see how that works. Is he going to play as much as he did last season? Are the goals going to come from the front three who it looks like it's going to be Martial, Rashford, and Jadon Sancho up front? Are they going to be able to score the number of goals that United need to be competing for top 4, top 6, or winning the Europa League? Who knows? Maybe they might need to call on Cristiano Ronaldo to kind of come in and make sure that those goals are being scored. But yes, you can have the goals, but at the same time, it looks like Cristiano is not going to be able to press, to run around, do all these things that is needed of the team that the younger players will be doing constantly. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. I don't know, man. I think if I'm Ten Hag, I don't mind Cristiano on the team, but it's you have to have a real conversation with him. You have to talk to him about the realities of his of his position. Number one, you're going to be playing Europa League. Sorry for you, Mr. Champions League, but you're going to be playing Europa League. Number two, you're not going to get the time that is needed, that you want. You're not going to get the amount of games that you want. That's just going to be the reality. We're pushing for top 4. We want the younger players to be involved, to boost up their minutes again, get them running again, making sure everyone wants to play in the World Cup. So it's going to be one of those seasons for you. Unfortunately, this is going to be the realities. And I think if Ten Hag has that conversation, or is even brave enough to have that conversation with Cristiano Ronaldo, it's important for him to do. Now, is he going to do it? Or is he just going to carry on and talk about how amazing it is to have Cristiano Ronaldo in the team and how he wants and how he's building with Cristiano Ronaldo, blah, 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 blah. Who knows? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole saga. Should Cristiano Ronaldo stay and expect to play less time? Or should he find a club like right now, any club that plays Champions League that will have him? I don't know. Should Man United let him go? Should Man United be like, you know what, it's fine. You gave us a great season. You may go. Who knows? I'm not sure, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Moving on to the big one this evening. It's Germany versus England at Wembley for the Women's Euros final. It's a big one. The Euros have been playing out well. Some of the big teams did put on some good performances, like Sweden and France. They did well. England and Germany are in the final. I think most people would have predicted those two. Well, Sweden is a big powerhouse in female football. So, yeah, you could have it could have been a flip of a coin. France also, because the game with Germany was really tight. So it's interesting that two very good teams, in my opinion, have made it to the final. Both of them, Alex Popp for Germany and Beth Mead, are the top scorers of the tournament so far, which is fantastic. And it just looks like it's going to be a really, really good match. For me personally, looking at the two teams and how they've played throughout the tournament, I see England edging this, to be honest. England just look the more complete team. The way they're playing football, the movement, the intensity that they have. I mean, looking at their match against Sweden that they won 4-0. I mean, it's it's a very big scoreline. Yes, they started off not so great in the match. I think it looked like the English girls were a bit nervous of how how the match was going to go and things like that. But once they started settling in, around like the 25th minute, because also we have to understand that Sweden were missing a lot of chances in the opening minutes. So once they started settling in, once they started making sure that the passes were in there, they started playing the 1-2 passes and moving the ball, making runs, they just looked like the team to win this tournament. So I have my money on, of course I'm internationally, I always support Germany. I'm going to be supporting Germany. But for me, looking at football terms and trying not to be biased, I just see England taking this one. I think they have the better team. I think the way they play, the way they move the ball, they have some strong characters. Beth Mead, and there's another. Is it Sam? Sam Kerr is the Australian. Anyway, what I'm saying is they have some really good players in the team, and some of them play for Chelsea, so I should know this, which is so bad. Confusing too. But yeah, I just think that they have the better team and they're just going to win it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is it Germany? Is it England? Of course, again, I'm going to be supporting Germany. I always support Germany when it comes to international football, but England look to me to have the better team, and we will see how that goes. Right, moving on now. I want to talk about who I think is doing well in the transfer window. Fran Kirby. It's Fran Kirby. Just remember, it's Fran Kirby. Anyway, moving on. I want to talk about who's winning in the transfer window this season. Obviously, for me, there's two teams that have done really well this transfer window. There's this meme going around saying that Thomas Tuchel has put in a transfer request to go to Barcelona as they're building the team that he wants. So the two teams obviously are Barcelona and Arsenal. The reason why I put Barcelona and Arsenal, I think number one, with the number of transfers that they've made this transfer window, and number two, how those players fit into their system and how they're going to better the team in the long run. I think with Arsenal especially, if you look at the players that have come in, there were some weak spots in this Arsenal team. There were some players that needed to go, which they got rid of, and there were some really talented players that needed to come in and fill in certain positions. So for now, as of the making of this video, they've made 5 signings, right? Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, Matt Turner, and Marquinhos, who are, we haven't seen Matt Turner and Marquinhos yet. Also, Fabio Vieira hasn't played yet. I don't think so. I don't really watch their preseason, except when they, trounced Chelsea 4-0, but it is what it is. But looking at Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, I think, especially with Gabriel Jesus, it was something that Arsenal needed. And I think that type of player, he fits Arsenal. He fits the brand of Arsenal. He fits the type of football Arsenal fans enjoy. That pass, that go, that aggressiveness, that pressing from the start. And it just looks like he's already, I think in preseason he's scored maybe 5 or 6 goals or something like that, which is fantastic. Yes, again, it's preseasons, blah blah blah, but he knows the Premier League. He's done this before, so he doesn't need time to adjust. He's slotting into the system so well. Obviously, he worked with Arteta before at Man City, so they know each other very well. Looking at Zinchenko when he played against Chelsea, he looked good too. You know, it almost just seems like every player that Arsenal are bringing in fits into the system so well already. You know, they don't need time to adapt. And it's just interesting to see. It sucks, you know, being a Chelsea supporter, because I hate seeing Arsenal do well. But kudos to them. Kudos to Arsenal. They've had it rough for the cup for a while. Since Wenger left. I think even while Wenger was there towards the end, Arsenal weren't, you know, the Arsenal that I grew up on. You know, the dominance, you know, with the Patrick Vieira's and the Thierry Henry's and you know, the rest. I don't know, whatever their names are. Ashley Cole. Anyway, so it's interesting that Arsenal are doing what they're doing, which is fantastic for them. Good on them. But the other team that I think is doing well is Barcelona. Look, you say what you want about Barcelona. Obviously, this debt is not affecting them as much as we thought it would. They're still making, you know, a lot of players are leaving. They're asking players to take wage cuts, which some are doing. You know, some are refusing to leave, like Frankie de Jong. Frankie, if you're watching this, just stay at Barcelona and don't take a pay cut. Just please, for all of us. That would be great. But so far, as of the making of this video, they've signed Christensen, KCA, Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Kounde, which, I mean, any team. I mean, I don't know which team in the world wouldn't. I mean, apart maybe from Christensen, because, but the other four, Kessie, Rafinha, Lewandowski, Kounde, any team would love those players in, and especially with what they already have with Dembele's, what's his name, Pedri, Fati. All these players already in this Barcelona system is fantastic, and it just looks like, you know, Barcelona are going to be a force to reckon with if they can, you know, obviously register all these players. But they're going to be a force to reckon with this season, especially with Kounde. It looked like their defense was their biggest problem, and obviously they focused on that, and they looked at, you know, Kounde, someone who already understands the league. He's quick, he's agile, he's just perfect. He's just perfect. And obviously the pool that, what's his name? Is it Iniesta? Which one is it? Is it Xavi or Iniesta? I'm not really. I always get the two confused. But the pool that the coach has obviously is important, because Kounde said, you know, in his first interview that part of the reason why he picked Barcelona, which he wouldn't really be honest about why he picked Barcelona, but he said part of it was that the coach spoke to him, and that he's looking forward to working with someone like Iniesta or Xavi, whichever. So it's very interesting. Good luck to him. I mean, good luck to Barcelona again. I hope they have a horrible season, but looking at both teams in the transfer window and what they've done, I think both, you know, have been 5-star. They've gone out, they've gotten the targets that they needed and wanted. But looking at what fits and how it works and who's going to benefit more, I think Arsenal. I think Arsenal wins this transfer window. I think they've done their business very smart. They've done it very quickly, and they've looked at the weaknesses, the weak points in the team, and they've made sure that they put that together. And I looking at how they're playing and how many goals. I mean, they just trounced Sevilla 6-0. Yeah, it's just gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a good season for Arsenal. Arsenal fans should be very excited for the season to begin, because their team are gonna do pretty well, I think, this season. So that's why I think Arsenal have won this transfer window already, and it looks like Arteta is saying that they want more signings. So we can expect more people to leave and more to come in. It's just gonna be interesting to see who are those people that come in, and I don't know. Anyway, you guys let me know which team you think won the transfer won this transfer window so far. Is it Arsenal? Is it Barcelona? Or maybe it's another team. Maybe it's, Man United that have brought in, who have they brought in? That midget in defense and someone else. I don't know. Whoever, let me know in the comments what you guys think about who's won this transfer window. But like I said, I definitely see Arsenal as, a top contender, especially in the top 4 race. Anyway, we will get into that later. But moving on, we're talking about this doesn't really happen a lot in football. And when it does, it's usually because a player leaves the club and, all of these things. Tyrone Mings has been stripped of the captaincy at Aston Villa, and it's been given to McGinn by Steven Gerrard, which is, it's a tough one. It's I get it why Gerrard would do something like that. I don't think that number one, I never thought that Tyrone Mings was a world-class defender. I think that Tyrone Mings if he probably not even in the top 20 best defenders in the league, to be honest. He makes a lot of mistakes. He's very hot-headed. He just doesn't look like he doesn't look like a player that any team can rely on. And I think that's where this whole situation comes in. Like, again, I don't really watch Aston Villa that much, so I don't really I don't really know the ins and outs, but from whenever I've watched Aston Villa play, especially against like big 6 clubs or Chelsea and so on and so forth, he just doesn't give me the assurance. He doesn't give me that, that comfort that a captain and a leader gives to the team. I mean, I've seen him being red carded so many times, and it just doesn't seem like he has that strong leadership qualities. And I don't think he's a good player, just in general. But it's interesting, and it's also interesting for a coach to do that, because at the same time you want you want what's best for the team, but you do not want to kill a player's confidence and bring him down, especially in a World Cup year for England. So it's going to be interesting to see how Tyrone Mings bounces back from this. How he, does he sulk on the, in the dressing room or on the field, or does he just get on with it and try to, push himself to make this English World Cup squad? I'm sure he's probably in the World Cup squad regardless, because centre back wise, I don't think England have that many good options, and he just keeps being in that team. So it's gonna be interesting to see when the list comes out, but I'm sure Tyrone Mings will be in it, and I'm sure he's still gonna play regularly for Aston Villa. But it's just about how he bounces back from that, because some players can take that very personally. They can look at it like, so you don't think I'm a good enough? I'm a good enough defender. I'm a good enough leader. I was leading this team before Steven Gerrard got here, and now all of a sudden I'm not good enough for that. So it's so it's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back from that. But again, also, to be honest, I feel for him, because it's not an easy thing to go through, especially, with such a big team where everyone is looking or what's going on and so on and so forth. So it should be interesting to see how he bounces back from that. Good luck to him. Again, like I said, I don't think he's a great player, but at the same time, when you look at you just from a human being perspective, from a professional perspective, if you're demoted at any point, or you feel like you're being demoted, it never really works out for anyone, whether you're in an office somewhere, or you're on a football pitch, or cricket or rugby or whatever you're doing. It still doesn't feel great, especially for the captain and the leader of the team. But we will see how that goes. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the situation. Is Steven Gerrard right for doing it? How do you think Tyrone Mings is going to bounce back? Let me know. Now, we're going into my league predictions for this season. After watching the league starts in a week, this time next week. The league would have been in full form. I think most teams would have played their matches by now anyway. So Premier League season 2022-2023. It's going to be an interesting one. 5 substitutions, very interesting. What's the top 6 going to look like? It's a tough one, but obviously I think looking at Man City and what they've done in the transfer market with Haaland, this is after watching the Community Shield, how Liverpool played. I think at the start of the game and at the end of the game, Liverpool were probably the better team, but everything else, City were for me the better team. They looked more fluid, except when it was, going forward. So, you saw a lot of frustrations in De Bruyne, for example, looking at Haaland's runs, and things like that. Obviously, again, I tweeted something like, Haaland is having the exact same problem Lukaku had at Chelsea, which is because the teams are so used to playing with a false 9 and, having that fluid front 3 that, now that you have the stationary, player that's there, it's harder for, players to look up and see those runs. Because, again, Haaland is making, I don't know how many runs in behind the defense, but no one's really looking at that because, they're looking at the quick pass that's here, that 1-2 to get moving forward. But I think when Pep made the changes and he brought in the other new signing, I think it's Alvaro, something like that, and he put in Foden. You saw that there was more fluidity and the play and that's how they got their goal too. But the play was more dangerous and it looked like going forward they did better. So it should be interesting. I'm sure Pep is going to figure it out. And, if Haaland doesn't pull his weight, he's going to get benched. And, if you look at 60 million signing or Pep Guardiola, you're always going to pick Pep Guardiola. So there's not really much. I'm so used to at my club when a player, certain player of really high quality or whatever throws his toys out the pram, the coach gets it. But at Man City, I think it's different. So I'm sure it's going to take time, but he's going to find a way to kind of fit, Haaland in. And it just looks like system-wise, maybe Pep doesn't like out-and-out number 9. It will be interesting to see how the season goes. Liverpool, obviously, with Darwin Núñez coming in, and he scored in the, in the Community Shield, which was fantastic for him. Does he fit in? It looks good so far, but I'm still sticking to the same to the same opinion that I had a while back, and that was that I do not think that Núñez is going to be the revelation that everyone, especially Liverpool fans, think he is. But he started off quite well. But at the same time, I will remind you, Liverpool fans, so did Lukaku. Just saying. And also, to be honest, you're playing against City. City are going to allow you to have that space behind the defense, But, when you come up against Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa and Southampton, you're not going to have the same space. You're not going to be able to do the same thing. So it should be interesting to see how that goes. Salah's looking fresh. He's looking sharp. It's going to be a good one for Liverpool. Now, Arsenal and Spurs have been doing well. Antonio Conte at Spurs, he's going to give them that extra boost. They're looking good in preseason too, so it's going to be interesting with Richarlison coming in. It's going to be a tough one. And obviously United with Ten Hag. Again, we'll see how that goes. In Chelsea being Chelsea as usual. Nothing's changed. Anyway, so my prediction for the league. At number 6, I'm going to go with United. I don't think Ten Hag has it. I don't think he quite has that that thing to make United click and have them finish better than sixth. Fifth, I'm gonna go with Spurs, only because I'm a Chelsea fan and I would like to think that Chelsea have a good enough team to make it into the top four, especially if our wing backs stay healthy, and that Thomas Tuchel is not forced to play the likes of Reece James as right centre back. So I'm gonna go with Spurs at fifth, Chelsea fourth. And because of what Arsenal have done, the thing with Arsenal is, right, they they have this tendency, no matter who they start off well, they do, they win 3-4 good games, and you're like, oh wow, Arsenal are back, and then everything just collapses for no apparent reason, and then injuries come in, and Thomas Partey is a rapist, and sorry. I probably need to bleep that out, but it's going to be interesting to see how Arsenal do. But I do believe that Arsenal are going to be a very good team this season. They're going to do well. I think Gabriel Jesus for a while is going to be in that golden boot race, and it's just going to be a really, really, really good season for Arsenal. I predict a really good season, so I'm going to put them third. And obviously the top two, Liverpool and Man City. I'm going to go with Liverpool again, runners up, and Man City top. Because at the end of the day, if the Haaland situation doesn't work, 3-4 matches in, Pep can always go back to, playing with a false nine. Because at the end of the reality is with Pep, you need at least a year. I mean, when Mahrez came in from Leicester, the first season, he didn't really play that much. It was just more about learning the philosophy and so on and so forth. It's the same with they paid 100 million for Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish was on the bench most of the season in the last one. So it's interesting to see, that every time a player comes in, they take a while to kind of adapt to what Pep Guardiola has going and the mentality of the team that he wants and how he wants them to play. So regardless, I don't think it's such a big issue if Haaland is not scoring or he's missing chances like in the Community Shield. I think that Pep Guardiola will protect him, have him sit out on the bench and just play with that false nine. And they have the Alvarez, I think his name is Alvarez, who is another striker who he can fit into that position, and he's very mobile, so he can play on the right, he can play on the left, so they can switch things up, so it doesn't have to be that stationary number 9. So I definitely think that unless something catastrophic happens, Man City are going to win the league again. And you know what? To be honest, I'm tired. It was fun at the beginning when it was, let's not let Liverpool win the league and Man City must. But now it's getting out of hand. They've won 4 in the last 5. If they win this one, it's just we're going to look like a farmers league. So we need other teams to step it up. We need to, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs need to keep that, what do you call it? That gap. They need to keep it. They need to make it, keep it at 3 points, keep it at 4 points, because Man City do have that tendency to lose ground a bit, especially when in the latter stages of the league. So it's interesting. We will see how it goes. I still put my money on Man City to do the job, but I would like to see the other teams kind of push them more this season, and hopefully something happens. Anyone but Liverpool, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, you guys let me know your top 6. And I've asked a lot, but let me know your top 6 in the comments below, and and then I'll be in those comments, checking and seeing what people are saying. But that's my top 6. So again, United, Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man City to win the league. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, again, guys, if you have anything to say about anything that I've spoken about today, let me know in the comments. I will be there checking and seeing what everyone has to say. And yeah, damn, it was a long one. You stuck it out. You did it. Fantastic. Good on you. Thank you. Now give me a like. Give a like. Yes, like. And subscribe, and comment, obviously, and let me know your thoughts. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm actually tired of talking. So I have been your host. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you for the next episode. This has been episode 5 of Random Football. I'm out. Peace.